Mr. Scary Studios.
Hey guys, Mr. Scary here. And before the video starts, I'd like to let you guys know that I'm very sorry about how long it's been. It's been at least probably 39 to 40 days. I did have a bit of a problem. I had to face a legal issue, and I can tell you about that story. In fact, I'm actually going to write my whole story about it eventually. I plan on doing that. I had a legal issue in jail due to a civil warrant for child support. Now, I went a few months without paying. I'm not to say that I didn't pay it, but that's how it happens, and that's how it was, and it really sucked, guys. Criminals got treated better than I did. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'm gonna do back up and running. I still am very fragile at the moment, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying to do what I can to get new content out for you guys. But thanks again for all my wonderful fans. I really appreciate you. People are like everything to me, and I love doing this. Thank you. I often read Reddit when I'm bored at work. I love reading all these Let's Not Meet stories and figuring out it's time I post my own. So my mom left the picture when I was 3. She literally picked up one day and just walked out. So for a long time it was just my dad and I. I'm a male, and at the time my dad met Tammy. I was 13. I was chubby and at the time small for my age. I still had my baby fat. I was and still am a nerd. So was my dad, and we shared a love of Star Wars, comic books, and science fiction. My dad decided he needed to meet someone. He was lonely, and I thought it would be nice to have a mother figure. This was before online dating, and there was still personals in the paper. My dad filled out an ad, and it wasn't long before he met Tammy. I remember him telling me about her and how happy he looked. They dated for a month before my dad figured it was getting serious, and he wanted to introduce me to her. So my dad decided to take us out for dinner, then a movie. I remembered my grandma helping me to help get dressed, and I was super nervous to meet her. She seemed nice at first, but even at that age, I could sense something was off. We went to Sizzlers for dinner, and my dad told me to order whatever I liked. He then excused himself to the bathroom. I smiled at Tammy, went to say something, and she cut me off, telling me my dad's been letting me eat whatever I wanted, and that I'm a fat little piggy. She demonstrated this by actually making pig noises. I was crushed. I meant honestly, I wasn't very heavy, maybe a little chubby, but no obese like some children are today. My dad actually didn't let me eat whatever I wanted. But anyways, back to the story. She ignored me until my dad came back, and then played nice. I, for my dad's sake, faked being nice to her. I wanted to tell my dad that she said what she had said, but I didn't want to disappoint him or upset him. My dad was and is my best friend. Anyway, so I hoped and prayed my dad would realize what a bitch she was and come to his senses, but sadly, no, he didn't. They dated steadily, and when I was 15, Tammy moved in. Now that summer, I finally lost my baby fat and grew a good foot or two. My dad's 6'3", so it wasn't surprising that I shot up to almost 6 feet by age 15. Puberty kicked in, too, and my voice was doing the weird crackling thing. I made it to a point to avoid Tammy. I went to school, came home and stayed in my room, did homework, and waited for my dad to get home. However, she started in on me the most days as soon as I walked in. She'd always find something. I was a looser. I was stupid, etc. Just cruel, mean things. The few times I told my dad, he just insisted we all needed to adjust. So I just decided I could put up with her for 3 more years for my dad's sake. Then I was out of there. The next 3 years sucked. Her insults got meaner. She also would do things like put glass, pieces of paper, and sand in my food. and just my plate. I started refusing to eat her food. I was often terrified she'd poison me. It was around this time my dad and her got married. Graduation came. I was so relieved. I was set to enlist in the Army. I planned on being in basic by July. But of course, she had to try to ruin that. My recruiter got a call from someone saying I smoked pot and did drugs. Thankfully, I passed my drug test, but I know it was her. One night, before I left for boot camp, my dad had a huge party for me. She tried to cancel it early, claiming that she was sick, but by that point, my dad had already invited most of the family and friends, and wasn't going to cancel. She pouted the entire time. I started to see that my dad was starting to see past her facade. Let's skip a few more years, and then I get leave. I've been deployed twice now, and I hadn't seen my dad in 22 months, so I was dying to see him. He had told me in previous conversations that their marriage was pretty much over. She, not like only, was controlling and verbally abusive, but a few weeks prior she'd knocked my dad out with a cast iron skillet. He had given her a ultimatum of a month to get out or he was throwing her crap out. The night I got in was late. My dad picked me up and we went home. She was gone, supposedly. She had started moving her crap into her sister's and pretty much was staying most nights there. So Dad and I eat, and we get to bed. Around 1, I feel my bed move. I'm exhausted and figured it's my dad's dog, Caesar, a German Shepherd. That's when I feel hands go around my neck and my soldier instincts kick in. I flip the intruder over and subdue them. My dad runs in and flips the light on. He's got his gun out. Surprise, it's my step monster. Dad calls the police, files a restraining order, and serves her with divorce papers. A lot more shit happens, such as her destroying my dad's new Mercedes, but I won't bore you with the details. What matters is they are divorced and I never have to see that bitch again. So Tammy, let's not meet again, ever.